Chapter 13. A Secret Between Brothers. In the Great Valley, Ruby paced and thought over what she'd say, wanting to make sure it wasn't too harsh, but wasn't too polite either. When Chomper entered, she took a breath and went to him. He still had the air about him, one that told her he was a bit uneasy. "You're back." "Ruby, we're going to head out after a couple of days." "I remember when we met, how you didn't have any friends. We vowed to save the mysterious Beyond from Redclaw. You defeated him and are the Alpha, have the chance to make a real difference. We can still reach our dream, together." Ruby reached her hand out to him, wanting him to take it. "If you'll have me, I'd be more than happy to be by your side when we make the change. No matter what anyone thinks, I see you. All of you. So do you want me by your side or not?" Chomper swallowed hard, knowing Ruby had to stay in the valley, otherwise Redclaw's predecessor might harm her. "I'm not sure about that." Taking a sharp breath, Ruby drew back. "Oh. So you just want me around when it's convenient for you, is that it?" "No, I didn't mean it like that." "You didn't have to. It's clear from your action. You no longer want me around." "I do care about you, Ruby. I just have to do this first." "What? What is it you're trying to accomplish? What's so important that you turn your back on your friends, your family, on me?" "The truth about why I'm so different." "It never mattered why you were different. Not to me, not to the gang. Don't you understand? We're here. We'll always be here. We see you. I see the real you. And that's always been enough for me." "I never asked you to do that," Chomper said, stopping when he realized his mistake. I shouldn't have." "No, I think you meant it. 'Cause it sure sounded like you meant it." Ruby passed him, going to exit the caverns. "I love you, Chomper. I only wish my love were enough for you." "Ruby, please, hear me out." Chomper turned, only to find she was gone. "Ruby, I'm so sorry." Ruby went for a nice long run, ending up at her thinking spot. Instead of going back to the caverns, she decided to settle in and prepare for nightfall. When the night circle rose along the great wall, and Ruby didn't come back, Chomper knew she was upset with him. Giving a deep sigh, Chomper rose and left the secret caverns, walking along. He went and sat on a hill, gazing out and feeling his stomach turn. With a sigh, the voice called again, stronger than ever, adding to his misery. "Ah!" He was drawn from his thoughts when thunderous footsteps were heard. "Hey, Chomper, you okay?" It was Littlefoot, coming to sit beside him. "Yeah, I'm fine." Though it was a lie. "Why are you up?" "Looking over the herd. Plus, Sarah's a bit of a restless sleeper and pokes me with her horns now and then." "You're a good leader, Littlefoot. I missed you. This place. So much. I had many sleep stories about it. Us, when we were young, the adventures we went on. It's what got me through. What gave me hope." "Why are you up, Chomper?" "Nothing. It's nothing." "Come on, you can't hold it in. I know something has been bothering you since you arrived. You can fool the others, but not me. I'm your papa, remember?" Littlefoot joked, rubbing Chomper's head affectionately. "Littlefoot, I think I'm going crazy. For a while, I've been hearing this voice. It wants me to follow it, to cross the big water, into the unknown." "The unknown?" "Yeah. Before my mother died, she told me to go there, to find the answers to the questions I had for her." How insane is that? Taking in Chomper's words, Littlefoot was moved by them. When I was small, a mere hatchling, I lost my mother to a mighty Sharptooth. Her dying breath was used to make sure I knew the way to the Great Valley, to encourage me to go on. You won't believe it, but it was she who guided me and brought me here. I heard her voice, saw her in the shape of sky puffies. Littlefoot smiled, eyes growing moist. When I grew older, I didn't hear her as much. Guess I didn't need her like I did when I was small. If anything, Chomper, I completely understand. So, you think I should go? If that's what your heart tells you, I'd follow it, for it whispers, and you must listen closely to it. Chomper was thoughtful, taking in what Littlefoot said. If anything, Littlefoot, out of all, got it, for he lost his mother and was very close to her. Such a bond couldn't easily be severed by death, right? Littlefoot, can you do something for me? Sure, anything, my brother. I need you to keep this between us, till the time is right. Rising to his feet, Chomper took a shaky breath. If the others ask where I've gone, tell them I went to fill up on food at the big water, and make sure Ruby remains here, where she will be safe. Did you say goodbye to her? No, we had a big fight, and she didn't return to the caverns. I really messed things up with her. Anyway, if you see her, tell her I'll be back. I promise. I'll keep this between us and watch over Ruby. Chomper smiled and got to his feet, knowing if there was time to leave, it had to be then. Thank you, brother. Nodding to Littlefoot, Chomper took off, seeking out Screech and Thud. The pair was sleeping when he stood over them. Screech moved and opened his eyes. What do you want? We need to go. Now. Under the cover of night, he went to leave, going to the back of the caverns. With moist eyes, Chomper removed the rocks for him and the fastbiters to leave. Once outside, he let the boulders hide the entrance again. Within the Great Valley, Littlefoot saw Chomper go, knowing he had to come up with a good and proper excuse, one that would satisfy Ruby. When the bright circle rose, Littlefoot left the hill to meet up with his friends. Of course, he noticed Ruby, running around, going from place to place. When she saw him, she dashed his way. Morning, Ruby. Something the matter? Have you seen Chomper? I've looked everywhere for him, and everywhere he's not. Ruby, calm down. He's not a hatchling for Tree Star's sake. She's right, Ruby. Besides, Chomper left to get some food at the big water. He told me he'd be back in no time. Till then, relax, Littlefoot encouraged, hoping to settle the flustered fast runner. Maybe you're right. Right you are, Littlefoot. Ruby joined Littlefoot and went to catch up with some old friends. After several days, Ruby remained calm, till the days kept going by. It reminded her of when Chomper and her were apart, the years that went by, and how lonely she felt. It was a time she never wanted to relive. But the pattern was clear. Chomper might not come back for her. If anything, she knew Ducky was right. It'd come down to them having to work it out, regretting taking Sarah's advice. On one particular day, Ruby took a long walk and thought deeply. With Chomper gone, she tried not to let her worries show, knowing he was an adult and was capable of surviving without her. Still, she thought of him often. Going to her thinking place, thought hard on what she should do. Stay or go after Chomper? Apologize and tell him to come back so that they could work it out. Getting up, she went to the secret caverns to find her parents. Mom, Dad, I fear the worst for Chomper and feel I must go after him. While we wish you would stay, we understand, dear. Indeed, the two of you love each other deeply, and will find a way to get back to each other. You're smart and will be fine out there. Just be careful. I will, Dad. I love you both so much. Take care, dear. We'll be here whenever you need us." "Okay. Goodbye, then." Ruby left the caverns, going to climb the great wall to leave. Scaling it, she felt the wind blow through her feathers. It was freeing and motivated her to keep going. From high up, she saw her friends, knowing she should have said goodbye, yet needed to cover a lot of ground to catch up and locate Chomper. Once she managed to climb out of the wall, she made her way down to enter the mysterious beyond. Going across the great land, she saw a few herds had been taken out, moving even more carefully, for if she was caught, she'd be killed. A few Sharptooth had gathered to eat the dead, not being the ones to take the herd out, luckily. After a few days passed, Ruby walked along a rocky area, seeing some pebbles clatter downward, Ruby looking up to where they came from. "Who's there?" She froze, glancing around with a nervous expression. From above her, a single fast spider leapt at her, attempting to grab her. Throwing a few punches, she kept him back, trying to think of how to escape. Knocking him away, she darted to flee, only for something to dive down from the sky and strike her on the back of the head, knocking her face first to the earth. Ruby's world grew gray, hearing the pair speak in a few growls. Going limp, Ruby was carried off. Unable to keep her eyes opened, she passed out completely. When Ruby came to, she was surprised by what she saw. There were 5 meat-eaters in total, a feathered Sharptooth and a horned Sharptooth, a fast spider, and a finned Sharptooth, one larger than Chomper, along with a flying predator. The fast spider spoke with the large finned Sharptooth, gray in skin, a long crocodile's snout, and a set of red eyes. They locked onto Ruby, who was grabbed by the feathered Sharptooth and yanked to her feet. Ruby was dragged easily, led by the hungry-looking pack. Head held high, she didn't dare show her fear, keeping her eyes on the leader. "Here, boss, this is the one," spoke the feathered Sharptooth, holding Ruby tightly in his grasp. "Indeed, the one we've been looking for." The leader walked over and studied Ruby, fingers reaching out to brush her cheek. Ruby tried to bite the fingers, seeing the hand draw back quickly. My, feisty, aren't we?" The voice that spoke was that of a female, Ruby realizing she had long lashes and a leaner figure. "What do you want with me?" Ruby asked in Sharptooth, taking the group by surprise, all but her, the finned Sharptooth, who seemed amused by the fact Ruby spoke their language. "What do you plan to do with me?" "Well, let's start with introductions, shall we? My name is Stephanie, the feathered one is Frank, and the horned Sharptooth is Stephen. The one flying over us is Talon, and the fast spider is Blaze." With a smile, Stephanie tapped her chin. "You are bait for him, that wimp of an alpha. You see, after the fall of Redclaw, some of us weren't too happy with the change in leadership, especially me, since it was I who was meant to step up and take Redclaw's place. You can't blame me for being a bit miffed. With that fool in charge, every Sharptooth would become the laughingstock with such a freak." "Chomper is not a freak. He's kind, pure of heart, better than any of you. You're all killers, and you simply fear what you don't understand." "Correct. We hate what we don't understand. Soon enough, we'll put him in his place, force him to fight. After all, I'm sure he'll want to keep his little fast runner safe." Stephanie laughed, biting her claws as though she were bored. "So we're going to make a trade, your life for a battle. Though I believe it is I who will get the good deal out of it." "If you're meant to be the alpha, where have you been this whole time?" "Banished. Redclaw banished me for simply being who I was. But now, with him gone, I'm back and ready to rule." "Chomper will stop you." "Stop me? He invited me. By hiding behind the great valley walls, by his mere presence, he challenged me. Now, keep an eye on her. It's time we put our plan in motion." Ruby was forced to keep up and ordered to walk into the center of the group so as not to escape. They traveled in the direction of the Great Valley, the pack assuming Chomper was there, hiding out behind the massive wall of rock. By the time the bright circle set, they settled into rest, one staying awake to watch Ruby. While there, Ruby shook and was scared, hearing a voice suddenly, and wondering who was out there in the night. "Ruby, hello?" she whispered, peering around. "Ruby." It was Chomper's voice, yet he wasn't there. His voice was soft, a whisper that only she seemed to hear. "Ruby." His voice called again, moving around her, eyes going left to right. She was unable to locate him, thinking it might be her mind playing tricks on her. Though somehow, she couldn't explain it, she felt his presence, sensed he was coming to save them. With that, she tried to stay strong, knowing he'd come and do what needed to be done. Clutching her legs, she lay down and went to sleep.